Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to all of our respected panel of judges and to all of the participants. And also a very good evening to all of our viewers out there. I'm Hazira and my partner here today.
Hi, I'm Nafarhia. We will be your MC for today. Welcome to the BioTALK competition. Era, can you explain what is BioTALK? Era? Okay, BioTALK is.
BioTalk is a scientific oral competition where participants are free to select their own topic of discussion from the wide range of disciplines in biology, and the talk should be purely oral or verbal competition.
Each participant will only be given 3 minutes to deliver the talk, and the judges will have 2 minutes to evaluate the participant.
And today there will be 14 participants, and each participant is represented by their own code, for example, BioTalk 01 or in short form BT01.
In this competition, there will be 2 rounds. The first round is for BT01 until BT07. After BT07 gives the talk, we will have short break for 5 minutes. After that, we will continue in the second round for the BT08 until BT14.
And now, without further ado, let's start with our first contestant, BT01 from Faculty of Science. She will give her talk entitled Coral Bleaching. Please welcome BT01.
A very good day to everyone and the judges. I'm Sneha from the Department of Biology, Faculty of Science. Today, I'm going to talk about coral bleaching. Before moving on, what are coral reefs? Coral reefs consist of colonies of individual animals that are polyps which have tentacles for their use. So, what's coral bleaching then? Coral bleaching happens when the water is too warm and the corals release the algae named zooxanthellae that live in their tissues, leading the corals to completely turn into white. Zooxanthellae is a symbiotic algae that is also photosynthetic. So, under this condition, the zooxanthellae can lose some of their photosynthetic pigment, which in return decreases the rate of photosynthesis and produces bleaching. Corals have the ability to survive the bleaching event, but they have more chance of mortality as they are under more pressure. This is also because when the ocean temperature stays high for about 8 weeks or more, the corals are unable to recover and eventually begin to die. The main cause of coral bleaching is climate change. Climate change is due to irresponsible human activities causing imbalance to the ecosystem. Irresponsible human acts like deforestation and the burning of fossil fuels, which releases harmful greenhouse gases, causes global warming. The ocean temperature rises due to climate change and causes coral bleaching in return. Coral reefs play a very important role in maintaining the balance of our marine ecosystem. We should all come hand in hand to protect the corals from bleaching. We should stop any acts that can cause coral bleaching. For instance, we can use environmentally friendly modes of transportation when needed to prevent the emission of harmful greenhouse gases. Not only that, we should educate ourselves about coral bleaching and share the information with our family and friends on what we can do to prevent coral bleaching. All of us should play our part in protecting the corals. It is our responsibility to protect our nature and not destroy them. So let's all help save coral reefs. Thank you.
Thank you, BT01, for your amazing talk. Now we shall give some time for our judges to evaluate the contestant. I think that was a good start for our competition. Yes, coral reef provide an important ecosystem for life underwater. So yeah, let's protect our coral reef.
All right, now we will move on to our second participant.
Okay, let's continue with the second participant, BT02 from University of Science, Malaysia, with her talk entitled Cost of the Human-Animal Ecosystem Interface. Please welcome BT02.
A very good evening to honorable judges, fair and square timekeeper, and fellow participants. Have you ever wondered how can human be infected with an animal carried pathogen? In simple terms, I'm talking about how did human get HIV when the virus originated from monkeys? Well, stay tuned as I'll be talking about the cost of human animal ecosystem interface. I'm sure the COVID 19 pandemic has triggered a dwindling debate whether or not the consumption of bad soup caused the ongoing pandemic. There are undeniably many causes for the emergence of an infectious disease. But why are zoonotic pathogens emerging so frequently? Biodiversity loss. This is the universal answer to what the world is facing today. We depend on biodiversity and healthy ecosystems for our health and survival. Biodiversity is an important source of genetic resources for the development of many treatments, vaccines, and a range of biotechnology products used in both modern and traditional medicines. So, how is it changing? As genetic and species diversity is lost and ecosystems are degraded, the overall system becomes more vulnerable for disease emergence and poor health outcomes in humans. Biodiversity loss, ecosystem degradation, and diseases share many common drivers. Human disturbance of ecosystem and biodiversity loss are increasingly linked to the occurrence and spread of zoonotic diseases. And can we blame climate change for this? Yes. Changing weather patterns speeds up the transmission of climate sensitive vector borne disease. In this case, climate change is a threat multiplier. As an example, I'm sure you must be thinking, what are the diseases I am talking about? Do we really have evidence on how did biodiversity loss cause the emergence of zoonotic diseases or perhaps vector-borne diseases? As an example, agricultural intensification has been proved to be a multiplier for for the cases of malaria. Deforestation and habitat enrichment have been the common drivers for Ebola virus and H7N9 virus. Wildlife trade and bushmeat consumption has been the major source for severe acute respiratory syndrome or SARS. You might be surprised, it also includes the current COVID 19 pandemic. Although the emergence of zoonotic diseases is a part of pathogen ecology and evolution, as pathogens exploit new niches and adapt to new hosts. However, human activity and environment destruction is also changing the pathogen dynamics. What can we do now? Well, look closely at the nature. Every species out there is a masterpiece, exquisitely adapted to an environment in which it had survived for centuries, for millions of years. So, who are we to destroy nature? It is worth thinking. Is biodiversity a part of us, or we are a part of Earth's mega biodiversity? Do spend some of your precious time thinking on this, as what the world is facing today, solely, and the prime source is biodiversity loss. Do spare some time thinking on this. With that, I end my speech. Thank you for lending your ears.
Thank you, BT02, for the interesting topic. I think it is really important for us to understand the human-animal interface.
Uh, so now we will have a short break for 10 minutes, and then after that, we will call upon our third participant, BT03. Thank you. We're very sorry. We have some technical problem just now. Uh, Farah, what do you think about BT01 and BT02 about that talk?
I think that they did such a good start for our competition. So I can't wait for other contestants also.
All right, yes. Now we shall start to our next contestant. Is our third participant, and for your information, BT03 is from Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. He will give his talk with entitled How to Conserve Sea Turtle. Now let's welcome our third participant, BT03. The stage is yours.
Be peace like a turtle in the nest where it should. Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to the judges and my fellow friends. My name is Said and I am a third year medical student. Today I would like to convey a talk entitled How to Save a Turtle. First and foremost, do you know in Malaysia there are four common types of turtle which are leatherback, green, hawksbill, and olive riddle. But do you also know that according to the Department of Fisheries, there are only two turtle nests that can be found in Terengganu in 2018. And according to a research that conducted at Pulau Upet, there are only 36 turtle landing in 2017 compared to 111 in 2011. This scenario totally show a decreasing in the turtle population in Malaysia. Then, what are our role? First, we need to save the turtle. We we need to be very conscious and responsible to the type of seafood that we consume. Then, we should always ask ourselves how and where that we get the seafood from. Then, whenever you see a sick or injured turtle at the beach or at the sea, you need to always report and contact to the local sea turtle stranding network in order to make sure that the survival rate of the turtle keep increase. Then, whenever you have the opportunity, you are advised to attend or support the sea turtle activity conservation by getting into directly to spread the awareness or indirectly by giving any donation or contribution to the respected society. Then, we also need to save the sea turtle habitat. But how? First, we need to reduce the marine debris that may entangle or accidentally eaten by the sea turtle. Because as we know, if a sea turtle consuming a foreign material, this will reduce their mortality, this will increase their mortality rate. Then, we also need to participate in a coastal cleaning and we should also reduce the usage of plastic in order to make sure the clean and the beach always clean. Recently, we had many issue and many accident where the turtle misinterpret the plastic as a jellyfish. This one of the thing that reduce the population of turtle and indirectly these things are caused by us and because we are using the plastic, guys. Then lastly, we should always be mindful to not disturb the turtle nest or turtle location because as we know the turtle are very sensitive type of animal. So pick up your role and let's save the turtle. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you to BT03 for your talk. How to conserve sea turtle. What a very good topic to discuss, isn't it?
Yes, and I think, in my opinion,
Uh,
sea turtle are at a diminished population level, and sea turtle are play an important role in ocean ecosystem. They maintain our healthy ecosystem, our coral reefs, and they provide a key habitat for other marine life. So let's save our sea turtle and don't use plastics. Now we shall give some time for our judges to evaluate the participants. Okay, now let's move on to the next participant, Farah. Shall we start again? And now I would like
Yes,
to
sure.
call upon our fourth participant, BT04. She's from Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, and she will give her talk entitled Climate Change. Please welcome BT04. The stage is yours.
Greetings to honorable judges and members of the floor. So my name is Sila Nur Fadila and I am currently studying in software engineering. I am going to start my speech with a quote that goes, "Look deep into nature and you will understand everything better." Every day, the human nations work their best to meet the challenges of climate change. Yet, the destruction of nature causes more global emissions than all of cars and trucks in the world combined. We can put solar panels on every single houses. We can turn every single car into an electrical vehicle. But if every year more than 13,000 square kilometers of the Amazon rainforest are burned, so long as every year approximately 5.73 million tons of oil are spilled in the ocean, hence our climate goals will remain out of reach. We modestly name ourselves Homo sapiens, which means wise man. But is man really so wise? Yes, we have split the atom. Yes, we have built clever machines that could navigate the universe. But in the same time, those atoms that we split have started nuclear wars. The same machines that we built are currently destroying the one and only home that we have. Are we really helping the earth? If so, why is that the rate of extinction of animals are currently increasing by 1,000 times than the normal rate? Species that have been here longer than us will be gone forever because of us. If so, why is that 80% of sewage from developing countries are discharged untreated? If so, why is that when we were given the most precious gift ever in the world and we decided to destroy it, yet we know we couldn't get it back? Wake up, humans. We are Homo sapiens. We can do better. Climate change sounds simple, but yet, billion and thousand of years and it is haven't been solved until now. Hence, I hope everyone that is watching are ready to help the earth. I hope everybody that is watching are ready to become a better person because the world needs you and the world needs us. And together we can do better. Together we can fight climate change. I think that is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, BT04, for a nice explanation. Climate change is an important issue to discuss about since it will has a huge effect to our life. Right, Hazira?
Yes, we must act now before it will be too late because climate change nowadays increases the appearance of more violent weather phenomena, and nowadays we face a climate change. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it's sunny day. It's not a constant condition. So we must act now before it will be too late. We shall give some time to our
Yeah, I
panel
agree with
judges
you.
to give their evaluation. For your information, our judges are from Faculty of Science Biology. Our judges is from our own lecturers, so they are very good in evaluate the talk. Right, Farah?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, now we move on to our next contestant. She is from Faculty of Science Biology. She will give her talk Fever, Cool but Hot. Let's welcome BT05. The stage is yours.
All right. Hi, and good evening to all judges and fellow contestants. My name is Mira, and I'm a second year student from Department of Biology. Alright, in past years, fever is not something to be worried about, right? People just thought it is normal to have fever at a time, especially during this rainy season. However, since last March, people have been avoiding anyone with fever as they may be infected with coronavirus. According to CDC, people with COVID-19 have a wide range of symptoms, including fever or chills that may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. As a biology student, it is just right for me to understand how this virus could actually trigger fever. So today, I would like to share about mechanism of a fever. Firstly, fever, or also known as pyrexia, is the condition in which your body temperature increases beyond the normal range, or simply saying above 37.5 degrees Celsius. Fever is actually our second line defense system, which means if you have a fever, that means the pathogen have managed to pass the first defense system and now invade our body. So when pathogen, for example virus, invade our body, it could cause inflammation at the infected site. Then, in response to the inflammation, our body will release a chemical called pyrogen. Specifically, pyrogen are released by destroyed body cells and capable of raising the thermostat in brain. This chemical will be transported to the hypothalamus of the brain, where the thermostat is located and responsible in regulating our body temperature. So the pyrogen deceived the hypothalamus, saying that our body is cooler than normal, so we need to raise our body temperature, thereby causing fever. Ladies and gentlemen, fever is not always a bad thing. In brief, it actually helps defend against any pathogen attacks as they trigger and stimulate production of white blood cell and antibodies. Not just that, the high temperature could actually directly kill and inhibit the growth of some pathogens that are unable to withstand the extreme temperature range. So, next time you have a fever, it's probably because there is some uninvited guests in your body that are trying to take over your immune system. I think that's all from me. Thank you and stay safe.
Thank you, BT05, for informative speech. And I think fever, some people may feel hot, but they are not actually fever, right? But because there are many reasons. Some cases they feel hot because they eat spicy food and maybe the stress or anxiety. So it's not actually because of fever, right, Farah?
Yes, sometimes it's also confusing.
Yes, but it is not always a bad fever. Okay, shall I give some time to our judges to evaluate the participant?
Okay, the following participant, BT06 from Faculty of Science with her talk entitled, What Happens if the Bees All Die? Please welcome BT06.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Diana Afrina and I'm here to ask you, did you know that bees play a crucial role on Earth? Some even claim that if they go extinct, humanity would be next. So, with the dramatic decline in bee population, should we be worried? Therefore, in this talk, I'm going to share with you what happens if the bees all die. So, as we all may know, bees help plants reproduce. This seemingly simple mechanism is responsible for the production of 70% of fruits, vegetables, seeds, and nuts that we consume on a daily basis, which also translates to $200 billion in agriculture revenue. This huge responsibility is accomplished by commercial bees, but since 2006, these hard-working busy bees have been mysteriously disappearing. This colony collapse disorder has seen an average of 1 over 3 of commercial bees abandoning their hives. But why? Well, many are now looking at an insecticide called neonicotinoids. This neurotoxin is used to kill off crop-eating pests, but it also affects the central nervous system of bees when they consume contaminated nectar, thus affecting their colony, thus affecting their colony when they thus affecting their colony, leading to mass confusion and disorientation. If this trend continues, entire food chains and webs may be at risk. Without bees, our diet would mostly consist of corn, wheat, and rice as they are wind pollinated plants. Let me ask you one more question. Do you love your clothes? Well, bad news. Not only is cotton the biggest cash crop in the US, but it also It also makes up about 35% of the world's fiber use. So, you can forget about your blue jeans, towels, mattresses, and high-quality paper products. So, while we may not necessarily go extinct, a world without the buzz of the bees would definitely sting. That is all from me. Thank you.
Thank you to BT06 for a great topic. And yes, what will happen if all the bees die? They are important to an environment too.
Yes, and it's because bees are pollinators vital to our food chain, and without bees, they would set fewer seeds and would have lower reproductive success. These too would alter our ecosystems. And I remember last time when my one of my lecturers shared this article, what happened if the bees are extinct? What happens to our world? As I read that article, I was shocked and I didn't expect to what happens if the bees are gone in our world. So it's very important to have bees and it's very causing it very cause alter the ecosystems when the bees are gone in our world. And now
Yes, Era.
our next contestant, BT07. He's from University of Science Malaysia and he will give the talk entitled The Greatest Zoologist of My Lifetime by Steve Aaron. Please welcome BT07. The stage is yours.
Good afternoon. My name is Ivan Tan Pehan, and I am an applied biology student. And as a science student, I understand that everybody have someone that they look up to in their respective field. Like physicists, they will look up to Stephen Hawking or Neil deGrasse Tyson. Who will I be talking to today? Charles Darwin? Not exactly. I will be talking about someone known as the crocodile hunter, and hence the title of my discussion. The greatest zoology in my lifetime, Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin is a zoologist, a zookeeper, a wildlife expert, a wildlife educator, and a conservationist. He owns a zoo in Australia, and that is where the conservation is going on. I love to watch his documentaries because in his documentaries, you can see the enthusiasm, the passion, the love and respect that he has towards animals. It doesn't matter what kind of animals, birds, mammals, or reptiles, he treats them all the same. And fun fact, do you know that there is a turtle named after Steve Irwin? It is known as the Irwin's turtle. Apparently, when his father and him, when they were going on a fishing trip, They stumbled across a new turtle species, and that is how it got its name. Sadly, more than 10 years ago, there was a shocking news that had been transmitted all over the globe. It was the death of Steve Irwin. An accident occurred when he was filming his latest documentary, Ocean's Deadliest. And what happened is the poison bug on the end of a stingray's tail pierced his heart. And that is how the tragedy happened. Ironically, as someone who works with animals, died in the hand, or should I say, the tail of an animal. Even though he has been long gone, his spirit is still with us. We can see people like Coyote Peterson from the Brave Wilderness YouTube channel, or his son, Robert Irwin from Australia Zoo, walking his footsteps with the same passion and same attitude. And I wish to be like them. I wish to be like a zoologist or a marine biologist like them. All in all, I can say that Steve Irwin will and always be the greatest zoologist of my lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, BT07, for such informative speech. And I remember I read about an article. The scientists have estimated that there are approximately 8.7 million species on Earth, and the task with observing and studying these animals are zoologists. Zoologists are dedicated animal lovers who often travel far and wide to study various species within their habitats. So I think it's very fun to become a zoologist. And I one time ago I like to be a zoologist, but now I changed my dream. Yes, Farah?
Yes, what do you want to be next, Era?
I'm not sure yet. Okay, now we shall give some time to our judges to evaluate the contestant. And for information to our respected panel of judges and to our viewers, to our contestants, we will have a short break for 5 minutes before proceeding to our next contestant, BT08. Please stay tuned.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and welcome back. Without any delay, we shall start again with our next contestant, BT08 from Faculty of Science with his talk entitled World Without Microbe. Please welcome BT08.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk about a world without microbes. So basically a world without microbes can be said as a world without microbial disease. You know, like bacteria, all the viruses, all the protozoa that can infect us will be gone. So basically it's kind of an ideal world to live for a germophobia. So basically, if no microbes, then no coronavirus pandemic, so no CMO, and we could live our life happily. But that's where the good news ends. As we know, we rely on microbes in our gut to help us break down the food that we eat. So when the microbe is gone, so basically we are going to have trouble in digesting our food. And also from microbes, it helps us produce some nutrients such as vitamins and chemicals that we couldn't get in our daily food sources. So when this happen, it will cause us human to start having a malnutrition. So let's start talking about what going to happen to human. What about the rest of the world? So imagine yourself standing in a vast green area and whoosh, suddenly it become a horror land. Why? Basically because the foliage on earth will start turning brown since the nutrients that the plant required in soil are generated by the microbes. So if they couldn't get the nutrients that they need, they couldn't live healthily. The crops will start will start dying, and also the sheep, the cows, we cannot break the cellulose from the plant they eat because they rely on the gut to help them cut down the cellulose. And also when they couldn't get enough nutrient, it caused the sheep, the lamb, the cow will start falling down and die. And for human itself, we are going to have a really big problem because we are going to have a food shortage. But don't be worried right now because as you know, decomposition process rely on microbes to decompose certain bio-organic substances. So when microbe is gone, so decomposition process will be halt. So we still could eat the corpses of animal if you want to eat, but for me that's a big no. But eventually when the last corpses of animal being eaten, well, human basically will start resort to cannibalism, because technically human body will not become dangerous for us to eat. So now we are moving on to the water part. As you know, microbes play a big role in lakes, in rivers, and also in sea because they help in cycling the nutrient and maintain the aquatic animal health. So when microbe is gone, it's cause the nutrient cannot be cycled, and we will start seeing a lot of fishes floating in on the river, like we could see now actually. And also don't forget, micro also micro also produce 50% to 85% of planet's oxygen supply. Can you imagine 7 billion people on earth, and then we suddenly 85% of world oxygen will be cut out. So basically we could think that the worst scenario is every human on earth will start struggling to breathing and end up suffocating to death. So as a conclusion for my talk today, I would like to say that we need to appreciate every living things that live on earth, even though a very tiny things, because these tiny things help us to function normally every day. So yeah, perhaps so right now we could say that coronavirus is bad, right? But actually, coronavirus did something good to us. Actually, it helped us heal back from the destruction that we have done. So that's 3 minutes from me. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you to BT08 for your great topic. Yes, not all the microbes are harmful to our body. They are important too. Hazira, what do you think will happen if there's no microbe in this world?
Oh no, they will give a major impact on life on this earth. And I agree with our previous contestant, BT08, which is microbes and their activities are vitally important to virtual all process on earth. And they are matter because they affect every aspect of our lives because they are in us, they are on us, and they are around us. So microbe is very important. We shall give some time to our judges to evaluate the participant. Now, without wasting any time, we would like to invite to our next contestant, BT09. She is from Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. She will give her talk entitled Hope. And I think from today's competition, her title is very unique. Right, Farah?
Yes, I agree with
Okay.
you, Hazira.
All right, without further ado, let's welcome our BT09.
So I bet all of you have been wondering what is with the title, and I'm glad to have brought to you some attention on that. Or those of you who are keen to know about my strange topic. Um, I'm glad I brought attention, as we seem to forget that excrement is extremely important to understand, and I want to be that person to shine light on a very taboo topic of poop and maybe to get to know ourselves a little better. Good afternoon to all. My name is Zara Nadira, and today I'll be talking about poop. Literally, we all have seen it fall, whether it be physically in the toilet or the declining tone of making an inappropriate joke during a professional setting, causing everyone to just fall back into awkward silence. But what if I told you poop is good? I bet you haven't heard of this. Poop transfer, or also known as microbiota fecal transplant, is when a doctor transplants feces from a healthy donor into another person to restore balance of bacteria in their gut. Such transplants have also effectively treated inflammatory bowel disease, or also known as IBD, which can make poop a lifesaver. So, as a whole, by the way, you also get 250 ringgit for donating a log of poop. So let's answer some basic questions about our little taboo topic and get to know a little more about ourselves through poop. Humans, as a rule, hate poo. Disgust, according to Charles Darwin, is one of the six most basic universal emotions. Psychologist Paul Rosin of the University of Pennsylvania argues that our disgust response reduces the likelihood of ingesting disease-causing microorganisms in decayed meat, feces, vomit, or blood. Disgust may reflect an intuitive understanding of microbiology. Fecal quality is not just based on economical exchanges such as that in Japanese Edo period from 1603 to 1868. Japan had a booming population of human excrement that was essentially a free fertilizer to them. Osaka used human bum gifts to enrich their farmland. The rich generally had better diet and more nutrients in their poop, which basically means high quality fertilizer. So, what about the contents of poop? Water makes up about 75% of your stool. The best is often a stinky combination of fiber, dead and live bacteria, other cells, and etc. etc. Your feces is the color resulted by a chemical called stercobilin. That chemical specifically ends up in your poop in two ways: a byproduct of the hemoglobin in a broken down red blood cell, and it also comes from bile, the fluid secreted into your intestines to help digest fat. Many doctors have seen patients get full workups for a bright red stool that turned out to be nothing from passing beetroot. Leafy vegetables can also cause green stool, while certain medications can make your poop look white or clay colored. Look out for jet black stool because it can be something as harmless as iron supplements to black licorice. So I bet you've also wondered, what in the world is that yellow corn stuff in my poop? The explanation for that is a widely observed phenomenon, and there's an absolute benefit to this phenomenon. If you're interested in tracking down how long it takes food to transit through your body, whether to gauge the health of your digestive system or just to satisfy your curiosity, you can use corn kernels as a tracker. So the next time before you flush, take a good look at your byproduct and ask yourself this: have I done myself or have I done my body any good? And maybe you'll know something a little more about yourself, like how fast you've digested your products and whatnot, and how much cellulose I've been eating. And that's all for my 3-minute speech. Thank you and have a good poop day. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, BT09, for your nice sharing and facts. I think I agree with you, Hazira. That's such a unique topic.
Yes, and this is my first time hearing some feces, human feces are used in medicinal, which is fecal bacteriotherapy. And I thought feces only can be used in agriculture, as we know that feces can be used as fertilizer or soil conditioner. Okay, we shall give some time to our judges to evaluate the contestant just now. Okay, now without further ado, I would like to call upon our youngest contestant today, BT10. She's from Malacca Matriculation College and she will give her talk entitled Double Fertilization. Please welcome
Uh,
BT10. The stage is yours.
I'm sorry, Era, but BT10 have a technical issue. So we will
Oh,
proceed to the next contestant. Yeah. And please welcome our next contestant, BT11 from Faculty of Science with his talk entitled Identical Twins and Fraternal Twins. And the stage is yours.
A very good morning to the judges and everyone. My name is Lam Zihui. I'm from Department of Chemistry, Faculty of Science, Malaysia. Today, I'm going to talk about the topic identical twins and fractional twins. Have you ever wondered how twins are formed? Do you know it is estimated that 1 in 250 pregnancies result in twins naturally? For me, I have a twin brother whereby we are studying in the same high school, watch drama together, and celebrate our birthday together every year. Doesn't it sound interesting when you have a twin brother or twin sister? So, what is the reason or the mystery behind twins pregnancy? Basically, there are two types of twins, namely the identical twins and fractional twins. Firstly, for identical twins, it is also known as monozygotic twins. Mono meaning one, which means only one zygote is formed, When a single egg is fertilized by a sperm, a zygote is formed and split into two. It would then develop into two babies with exactly the same genetic information. In other words, identical twins share the same DNA, so they always look identical to each other. Next, for fraternal twins, it is also known as dizygotic twins. Dis means two, so two zygotes are formed. It happens when two different eggs are fertilized by two sperm, then it will form two individual zygotes that will develop into an embryo and grow into baby. As for conclusion, identical twins are developed from the same egg and sperm, whereas fraternal twins are developed from two sets of egg and sperm. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Wow, thank you to BT11 for your interesting talk. This is my first time hearing about fraternal twins. How about you, Era?
Yes, me too. This is my first time hearing fraternal twins, and I read about it just now in the Google. They said that fraternal twins is a dizygotic twins. Maybe we can read more about it to add our general information, right, Farah?
Okay, thank you, Era, for your sharing.
Oh, okay. Now BT10 still cannot proceed her talk, and but we shall call upon BT12. But before that, we shall give some time to our judges to evaluate BT11 just now. Okay, now without further ado, let's welcome our next contestant. She is from Faculty of Biotechnology and Science Biomolecule, BT12. She will give her talk entitled Creating Cow-Free Dairy Milk Using Biotechnology. Please welcome BT12. Your stage is yours.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Alia from Biotechnology course. For my talk here, I want to share with everyone here about something very revolutionary in the dairy industry, and that is creating milk without cows. Seriously, think about it. Okay, what is the magic of cow's milk? What's in it that makes a very stretchy mozzarella cheese or a very delicious creamy ice cream? Turns out it's the protein, whey and casein in particular. Now, before I go into the process, let me tell you why this is vitally important. First, deforestation. Animal agriculture is responsible for 91% of the degradation of the Amazon rainforest. Second, greenhouse gas emissions. Dairy alone is responsible for 4% of greenhouse gas emissions globally. And third, coming from Selangor, water. The water footprint of just a single gallon of milk is the same as taking a 2-month-long shower. It's true. Therefore, if we want to sustain the planet, we need to address the animals, cows in particular. Well, that is exactly what Ryan Pandya and Perumal Gandhi is doing in a company called Perfect Day. So these two bioengineers, firstly, they take a few sample cells from cow, and then they take the gene or DNA from the cell that is responsible for making the essential milk proteins, whey and casein. And they take the DNA here and then they inject or insert it onto a type of yeast, Trichoderma ricei, if anyone's wondering. And then the genetically modified yeast undergoes fermentation, same as what people use to brew beer, but instead of producing alcohol, the yeast produces milk proteins that identical to what cows normally produce. Now, the last step here, they harvest the proteins from the yeast and then they combine it manually with vegan stuff. Like they combine it with plant-based fats, sugars, water, vitamins, minerals. The end result is a nutritious, delicious, cow-free vegan dairy milk. Oh, what a mouthful. Okay, so no hormones, no antibiotics, none of that artificial stuff. They can even leave out the lactose and milk allergies. Let me rephrase that. No more lactose intolerance, no more milk allergies. Trust me, this creation has absolutely endless possibilities. More good news, they already got $300 million in funding, and people from the best biotechnology companies in the world is eager to make this project work. So in conclusion, I am aware that GMO products can be very, very controversial in our society. But with a drastic climate change that we have here, do we really have a better option out there? Either we completely cut off animal products or make them better. I am Alia here, and I urge all of you to think about making a kinder and greener tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, BT12, for your exciting topic. That's very informative speech. I wonder how it tastes, the cow-free dairy milk using biotechnology. Is it the same taste with dairy milk we have right now, Farah?
Yes, biotechnology is so important for health and medicine. And through genetic engineering also, scientists have been able to create medicine and other benefits.
Oh yeah. Okay, now we'll give some times for our judges to evaluate BT12.
Okay, so our next participant, BT13, from University of Science Malaysia with his talk entitled Climate Change. Please welcome BT13.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, MCs, and a very good day I would like to bid to the judges and the fellow contestants. Before I begin, let me ask you a question. Do you know what is climate change? I won't be surprised if there's some of you guys do not know what is climate change. Thus, let me define what is climate change. Climate change describes a change in average of a condition such as rainfall and temperature in a region over a long period of time. Globally, it covers the entire planet. Next, let me give you guys some facts related to climate change. First, there has been 50% higher greenhouse gas emission compared to the 1990s, which has led to the global warming. And we all know that it is irreversible. We cannot deny the fact that we are feeling much more heat compared to last time because the global temperature have risen by 1.14 degrees Celsius side to side with the increase of carbon dioxide due to the tremendous usage of carbon dioxide in the development all over the world. The sea level has also risen by 8 inches, which is 20 cm, over about a century, and the rate has been doubled currently. And it's a very bad news for those countries which are or places which are in low altitude because you might even join the Atlantis soon. Next, I believe that Malaysian like snow because we Malaysians we don't have winter season here. But sadly, over the years, it has been reported that the snow cover has been reducing. Jokes aside, these are all facts. Let's not talk about the consequences. Let's not talk about the causes. Let's talk about solutions. How can we, the Malaysian citizens, students, or educators, do to contribute to the climate action? Firstly, we have to switch to green electricity from solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, or many more recyclable, renewable energies. And it does not use fossil fuels because fossil fuels releases carbon dioxide into the air. For an example, you can use the smart power strip because it limits the usage of electricity. Next, we need to reduce the usage of plastic bags. We know how durable the plastic bag is, but in reality, how many of us are really reusing it back? And sadly, it does not vanish into thin air like magical folklore. Good news is we do have biodegradable plastic bags, and also we are suggested to use reusable woven bags. Lastly, we have to plant more trees. People, how can you forget the natural solution to this? We all know that the plant uses up carbon dioxide for respiration and they release oxygen for us to respire. And this will actively reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the air, which will then help us to reduce the effects of climate change. Having said all that, there are a lot of initiative going on. Sayingly is SDG 13 Sustainable Development Goal Climate Action, the Green New Deal protocol, the protocols such as Kyoto Protocol, the Montreal Agreement, Paris Agreement, Vienna Convention for Protection of Ozone Layer. I can name every single policies and also protocols made to realize this movement, climate action. But it all comes down to us, the citizens of the earth, to work hand in hand in order to protect our mother nature and the earth for the future generation to stay in. That's all from me. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. You're very semangat. What an amazing topic. And we will give some time to our judges to evaluate the contestant before we move on to the last participant. And I think there are two participants giving the same topic, right? Farah, there's two participants giving the same topic, which is climate change.
I'm sorry. Yes, I hope every of us will be more aware about this global warming because it is a long-term effect to this world. So yeah, I think it's better if we raise more awareness about this.
Yes, and we must use energy wisely. Okay, now we invite the next contestant, BT14. She's from Faculty of Science. She will give her talk entitled Penguins, Peculiar Life and Habits. Please welcome BT14.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so Assalamualaikum. My name is Sarana, and today I will be talking about penguins. All right. Unlike parrots that have up to 350 species, penguins only have 18 of them. Penguins are under the Sphenicidae family, which characterizes as non-flying and semi-aquatic birds. Penguins are pelagic, which means that they live on land and they don't spend much time underwater. But even if they do, they will stay close enough to the surface before they jump out of the water onto the land and after they find food in the ocean. You can find penguins, but you can only find penguins at the southern hemisphere. Yes, it's true, they live at Antarctica, but some of the penguins live on islands, and you can find them in Argentina, Australia, and South Africa. And for your information, penguins, not all penguins, need to live in cold temperatures to live. Some penguins, like Galapagos penguins, they can survive finely in warm temperature. Okay, so now that we have talked about the behaviors and habitats, let's talk about something more fun, like their types. So let's get into it. So the first type I'm going to talk about is the emperor penguin. Emperor penguin is the largest penguins, and they live in Antarctica. They're very calm, and they are good parents. Usually, their mom will go out to find for food, while the dad will try his best to keep the egg warm at Antarctica on winter. How are they supposed to do that, right? Well, usually penguins they will huddle together as a giant colony and they will trap heat, right? And then they will rotate in the huddle and making sure that all penguins get their warmth. Yay for justice, right? And then like after the eggs hatch, the penguin mom will come back home and feed the chicks by giving them regurgitated food. And besides the best parenting penguin, we also have the Adelie penguins. Adelie penguins are feisty. They just rattling around, spreading their flippers. Sometimes they're just noisy and loud. Talking about rattling, penguins rattle. It's a fact. But comparing rattling penguins and swimming penguins, penguins swim so much faster because their body is built for that. They have small and strong legs, which helps them to swim and dive. So, furthermore, some penguins, like Adelie penguins, they build nests with pebbles with their partners. And besides building houses, the male penguin also uses the pebble to give to the female penguin as a gift. And not only that, penguins are loyal to their partners because they are monogamous, which means that they have only one partner for their life. Like, how cute is that, right? So at this point, we can all see that penguins are really one of the most precious and cutest creatures ever on this earth. And it is our responsibility as humans to protect them and slow down climate change because it will definitely affect them, and not just them, but other animals also. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, BT14, for the title Penguins. That's such an informative topic. So we will proceed to BT10.
Okay, now we will proceed to our last contestant, BT10. He's having a technical problem, but he's fine now. So let's invite our BT10, our youngest contestant, and she's from Malacca Matriculation College. She will give her talk entitled Double Fertilization. Please welcome BT10.
Hi guys, my name is Darshna. I'm from College Matriculasi Melaka. Sorry for the inconvenience made by me. I don't know, suddenly my line is not okay today. Today I would like to explain about double fertilization. First and foremost, the definition of double fertilization is it is a process of fusion between one of the haploid sperm cell with a haploid egg cell to form diploid zygote. Double fertilization process begins when pollen grains land on stigma. Stigma secretes chemicals which is sugary solutions to stimulate germination of pollen grain. The pollen absorbs water and germinates by forming pollen tube. Then the pollen tube grows through the length of the style towards embryo sac. Nucleus of the tube cell moves down the pollen tube followed by the generative cell. These generative cells then divide by mitosis to form two male gametes, which is the sperm cells. Next, the pollen tube penetrates the wall of embryo sac through micropyle. At this point, nucleus of tube cell degenerate and sperm cell, which is haploid, can enter the embryo sac. One of the sperm cell, which is haploid, fertilizes the haploid egg cell to form a diploid zygote, which then it will develop into embryo. The other sperm cell fuses with the two polar nuclei to form triploid nucleus, and then it will develop into triploid endosperm, which is a food storing tissue of the seed. The union of two sperm cells with different nuclei of the female gametophyte is called as double fertilization. Finally, I would like to continue my speech by explaining about the importance of double fertilization. Double fertilization is significant to ensure that endosperms develop only in ovules where the egg has been fertilized. Apart from that, double fertilization is also important for preventing from squandering nutrients on infertile ovules. That's all from me. Hope you guys understand my explanation. Thank you very much for hearing my speech, and I'm telling sorry and apologizing again for the inconvenience made by me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, VT10, for your great sharing on double fertilization. It reminds me on the year I'm still in matriculation. Double fertilization is the topic that we learn from primary school, from secondary until now. And it's very important to learn and to remember to know that. And despite BT10 having technical problem, she still continue to give her talk. We appreciate your effort. Thank you, BT10.
Yes, BT01, thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you, BT10, for being matriculation representative. They must be proud of you. And every participant did such a great job today. Now we will give our judges some time to evaluate the participant. With that, our program is come to the end.
Before we close this program, I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of the organization team to say thank you to all of our respected panel of judges for spending your time in this event. We very appreciate your time.
Not to forget our contestants, I also want to say thank you for participating in our events, and to our viewers, thank you for your support.
And last but not least, we'd like to apologize if we have made any mistakes throughout this event.
A kind reminder to all the UPM students who joined this live, do not forget to scan the QR code after this to get your email. See you in our closing ceremony tonight, and please stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, for your information, the QR code here is only for UPM students. Thank you.